The history of coffee is a fascinating one. It is remarkable how a small bean picked from small trees in Ethiopia can become the second largest commodity traded in the world today. Have you ever wondered where coffee comes from? Where that little bean started? Get ready to dive in. The most popular origin story of the beloved bean begins with Kaldi and his goats in 700 AD. Kaldi, an Ethiopian goat herder, came across his goats behaving rather strangely. They danced. This was definitely not normal. He discovered that they were eating red berries and concluded that this fruit was the cause of this strange behavior. After stumbling upon this magical fruit, he shared his findings with a monk who was ecstatic to find something that would help him stay awake all night while praying. However, another story claims that Kaldi shared these grains with a monk who disapproved of their use and threw them into the fire. The result was a wonderful, pleasant aroma that became the world's first roasted coffee. Shortly thereafter, the beans are ground and brewed to produce what we know today as coffee. Although the Kaldi story cannot be proven to be true, one thing is certain: the coffee came from Ethiopia. Another thing we know for sure is where he went next. Coffee made its way north across the Red Sea to Yemen in the 15th century. The port where the beans first arrived was called Mocha. Coffee was grown in Yemen and became famous in Egypt, Persia, and Turkey. It is known as the wine of Arabia. The drink began to become too popular as cafes began to open all over Arabia. These cafes were known as the schools of the wise. Arabia was the gatekeeper of coffee. If a country wants coffee beans, they buy them from Yemen. The authorities liked it that way and did everything to ensure that no one could take the fertile beans outside their control and plant the trees themselves. Alas, as the years progressed, the cafe appeared all over Europe in England, Austria, France, Germany, and the Netherlands. Like the coffee houses of Arabia, these places became social centers where one could engage in friendly conversation and political debate. We briefly dived into the fascinating history of one of the world's leading economic raw materials. But let's find out what this energizing drink actually costs us in real terms.
It's a drug. I mean, a little bit's fine, but more than a little bit is not fine. It increases cortisol. You don't want to increase cortisol. Puts fat around your belly. It shrinks your hippocampus. It constricts blood flow 30%. I have all my patients hold caffeine the morning of their scans because I don't want it to artificially show me they have less blood flow than they really do. It fakes you out to think you have energy. What it does is it blocks adenosine, the chemical that tells you to go to sleep. And so often people rely on caffeine because they're sleep deprived, but it's just this bad cycle. And so many of my patients stop, and uniformly they tell me they feel better.
Coffee is an aromatic and energizing drink, but as we learned from Dr. Daniel Amen, our health pays the price of its excessive consumption. Thank you for diving in with me, and for more fascinating content, please like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.